What is up, freaky people? Welcome to Mad Trading. I'm your host, Mad Trader, a face for radio and a voice for silent film. Welcome back. Hopefully the audio has been fixed. We were having slight issues with it being a little bit weird. That's probably just my voice, if I'm honest. But anyway, we've got a trade sesh coming up. I might even be popping over to another company, group of people, chap, who's also on YouTube, who, if you're not following them, you should probably be following them, as well as me, obviously. They give out some very good information. And, well, here we go, straight into it. Oh, before I do go straight into it, so that's a lie, I broke my headset last night doing a video for something else. So I just need to leave in a minute or two and go and get the new headset that I've just bought. Go and set that up and then we'll be good to go. But have a listen to this. We've got this. It's the same old music. It's free to use, copyright free malarkey. That's why it's on there. And I shall be back momentarily. My IT gadget, the computer, has just informed me that I can't swap out the headset now because I've already started the stream. I'd have to end the stream and then restart it again with a different headset on, which is a bit of a weird. Never mind. So, let me just sort some stuff out and I'll be back with you. Don't go anywhere. Righty, so today we're just on a quick look, not a major look, a quick look at natural gas, a little bit on gold. Let me just mute, go away, thank you. That's it. No, that's not what I wanted. That one. Mute, there we go. Aha, even better. Good. Yeah, so natural gas, gold, possibly a quick look at Brent crude. Aussie yen, maybe, if we get a chance to have a look at that. We're not going to be looking at pound euro. DAX, definitely. Love the DAX. And a couple of trades that I've either put on or I'm in. Sainsbury's and Treble 8 Holdings. Just in case anyone is trying to chat, not sure if anyone is or not, but if anyone is trying to chat, it's about a 30 odd second delay. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous here on YouTube, but we shall try and answer any and all questions that you may have. Just pop yourself or pop your question into the chat stream there, and if I find it, if I can get to it, I'll answer as best as I can. Let me have a look, see at the channel there, see if there's anyone in. No, there's not, which is good. So yeah, now into the chat. That's awesome, nice one. So let's have a quick look at natural gas to start with. Oh, let me know if it's too loud or if you need me to change anything. I do need to turn that music down ever so slightly. As long as there's something going on in the background, that's all that matters really. So, here on natural gas, we're on the 15-minute. There was an entry signal given to me earlier this morning, a breakout, a break above this little high here. There was also one here from 11 o'clock, but I wasn't there then. and I wasn't here at 3 o'clock this morning either. So breakout above this high from the 4 o'clock candle, excuse me, at 10 o'clock this morning. I wasn't here then either, which is a bit of a weird one. But anyway, it doesn't matter because I'm expecting natural gas to come back down again. Only because it's not made a higher high as yet. So this is a high of yesterday, 6 o'clock. It only just pipped the 5 o'clock candle and it went rocketing down. So I'm expecting at roughly this area, roughly, for there to be a double top and for it to come bobbing back down again. I would have suggested that it might make R1 and then fall over, but I don't predict the market. I only go in if and when there is a signal generated, and at the minute there has not been a signal generated for me. Excuse me, and any other persons who may or may not follow my strategy. There hasn't been one, so I won't be going in. On the daily, with natural gas, there's been lots of big green candles, so not that I'm expecting there to be a down day at some stage, but this being a significant high, price might get up there. It might only get to might only get to this point here, somewhere in this green zone, and then reverse and come back down again. And I'm saying that not because of anything in particular, but because of a double top scenario. Maybe if we were to zoom out and see if it were to break that, so a break above 2735 for me, and a break above, by the way, for me and my strategy, the way I trade, is a break above and close above this line and definitely this green box, and then an open and close above the same box. Doesn't matter where it opens and closes, not bothered. That would be the signal for me to then go long, possibly. And if we were going to look to go long, where would it get to? Well, it might only get to this red line here, which is an interim support resistance line around about 2882. So as long as it opens and closes, within a relatively decent space between here and there, then I might go long on it. Or if it's that strong on the daily, I doubt we'll get back up to where we were November 18. But if it's that strong on the daily, we might make it up to at this point here 3522. It's Christmas, or it's coming up for Christmas. It's November tomorrow. Is it November tomorrow? Let me just do Blade Chalk. No, it's October still tomorrow, but it's November's Eve, 31st tomorrow. So come November, December, there's usually a little bit of a downturn. If we say September, October, November here, it shot up in November, and then look at that, November, December come crashing down. Not because it's a seasonal thing, but all the companies that you buy your gas from, because this is the spot market, this isn't the price of actual natural gas. You wouldn't go to, I don't know, BP or whoever and say, right, I want to buy 1 therm of your natural gas, please. And they'll say, yes, of course, that'll be 2541.9 per therm. That's not how it works. This is the spot market price set from an ETF. You can go in through the information center and it will tell you all about it. You get the key investor documentation. So through the commodities aspect of MyTrader, this will make up the ETF, electronic traded fund, of which we then get a spread bet, daily funded bet on natural gas spot price market. So it coming up for the winter period, it's not unthinkable to think that companies that you buy your gas from, or that you pay your gas bill to, have already bought their gas. They bought it probably down here somewhere, and they bought a lot of it and pushed the price up. They probably even bought a few more here, maybe, I don't know. So you're not, companies aren't buying anymore now, because it's already into the colder months. Now they'll be looking to make profits from you using your gas of a night time or of a daytime, keeping yourself and your kids warm and your pets warm and stopping your pipes from freezing up. And come maybe February, March time, they'll start to think about maybe increasing prices again. So it's not unfathomable to think that this price will rocket back up here or here, but unlikely in the short term, which is what we're looking at for this trading. If you're thinking trading for weeks, months, or even over a year, that's investment. That's not what I'm going to show you. So for me, if and when this price gets into this green box, certainly if it closes above 2735 or higher, and then the next bar opens and closes higher than this, then that's a good signal for me to go long. If it touches, retraces, I'll be looking on a shorter time frame for some entries short to possibly take this back down to roughly the monthly support resistance. Let me just take it back onto the hourly. You can see it's coming up for a nice double top just there, but looking back, I won't go back any further. Yeah, looking back, don't look back in anger. Oh, there we go. Come on, I heard him say. So in and around the September high, it might breach this 2705, and it then might make its way to 2733. I know it's only 30 odd points, but what do points make? Cash. That's what points make. Points make cash. So we don't really want to go short now, because it might breach this and it might continue on. So we're not going to preempt the market. I'm not going to try and predict the market. I'll only enter if there's a signal. My signal is generated on the hourly or the 15-minute, which for some is a scalping time frame. Yes, I would also suggest that that would be a scalping time frame for me. But if I'm thinking short on the hourly, I will enter on the 15-minute maybe. Excuse me. But my signal has not been generated, so I won't be going anywhere. On gold, we are already in a short position. It's going to be a small short position, hence the very small size. Excuse me. On the premise that there was a 1 hour head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder break of that neckline. In fact, the break of that neckline was oblique, but I don't do oblique head and shoulders. I don't do oblique support and resistance. Very rarely, in fact, do I do support and resistance. But anyway, there was a break of this neckline, but there was some resistance down here at roughly 1488, which it stopped just above, which is why I wasn't in it. Plus the fact that it was coming up for the close of play yesterday. Now, however, I'm in short, as you can see. As it just got me in, it just pipped me in, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, my system said in, so I go in, and when my system tells me to get out, I'll get out, be that a win or a loss. Currently down 5.8 points. Oil, this is Brent crude. This is none of your American stuff. This is Brent crude oil, not shale. And this morning on Twitch, because I stream on Twitch as well. This morning on Twitch, I was talking a little bit about these channels. I don't trade within channels. I don't trade the channel move. I understand the support and resistance of a channel quite well, and I know one or two people, Ron, not Ron, Dolphin Dave, and Sexy Steve. I know they do like to trade these support and resistance lines and channels, which is great. That's not my system. That's not how I've explained how I trade to others anyway. And it does seem to have some substance to it, but it's just too much of a thinky for me. I've got to think too much, and I'm a very simple man. All I need is dark, fizzy, carbonated, tasty goodness, obviously no sugar, and a kebab or three, and I'm happy. So as long as I can make enough to pay for my kebabs and fizzy pop, then I don't really care. And I do that by following my strategy. And whilst we're on it, let me just click on this. Consistency is key. You've got to do the same thing day in, day out, every signal that you can. Be consistent in your trading approach. You've got to give things time. If you go into a trade and you don't give it enough time to play out, then you're not giving your strategy enough of a chance. The money aspect, you've got to have the money in order to trade. You can't make £1,000 a week on £1,000 account. You can't make £100 a week with a £500 account. It just doesn't work. You need money in an account, and you need to manage that money correctly. Excuse me. You need to be able to manage your losses and your wins. Not many people. There is a company, and I'm going to mention them in a bit, but there's a company that do talk about the winning side of life, because you will win money. You will win a percentage of your fund. You'll get that cash as long as you follow the consistency aspect of life, and you manage your trades properly and you give them time. You will make percentage back. But people then get scared, think, oh my God, I'm up, 140 quid on a £1,000 account. That's 14%. That's ridiculous. Right, I'm taking it now. But if you just left it, you might have even doubled your £1,000 account. You won't do that with a £50,000 account in one trade. That is, for me, unthinkable. But you've got to give every trade time to prove itself, and you've got to be able to manage your money, manage the risk, manage everything about your money, be it whether you're trading with it or not trading with it. And there's got to be reasons. I've probably missed an S off there, but the reason why you're trading in the first place, just for fun, just for shits and giggles, just to prove something? Is it for an extra income? Is it to pay for, new teeth? Whatever it is, there's a reason. And if it's just to have a laugh, then what's the point? Seriously. You're just going to give money away. But also, the reason for entry, reason for exit, and the reason for where your stop loss is. There's got to be reasons. That's my outlook on it anyway. So there's no reason for me to enter this market. Not a sausage. And on the hourly, it's not worse. But on the hourly, there is too many things to think about. Certainly with Brent crude. If my internet connection would be stable enough for me to show you. Oh blimey, I've had 1, 2, 3 reasons for entry short. Didn't. I've had no reason for entry long as yet. That was a double top, which might have only worked out for about 60 points if I'd have set targets, which I don't. Currently, we've got a high up here from Monday. Then we've got a lower high from yesterday at 4. And today, so far, we've got a lower high from 11. So if things were to fall over, I would be expecting price to close below this candle here on the hourly. 6,035. But bear in mind, the markets love round numbers. So the daily is not, it's not a coincidence that the daily is near 6,000. Excuse me. The market and market makers and people in the markets love round numbers. So be cautious if you're short selling this to 6,000, because that might be where lots of people would be sticking their longs. Maybe, possibly. Don't take my word for it. But for me, I can't go short until I've at least broken this this low of 6,035 on the hourly. On the 15-minute, which seems to be the favourite for me, certainly over the past couple of weeks. Excuse me for a second whilst I sneeze my head off. Wow, that's mental, and I need a bit of liquid refreshment. Oh, hold on. Oh, go away. Yes, I know. What was I saying? Yeah, so here on the 15-minute, we tried to break through this low, didn't happen. And we do have a way to fall on the 15 minute before it goes past this 6,035, and it hasn't gone above this high here. So a long for me on the 15 minute would be a break above 6,165 with a close above, then the next candle to open and close above before I go high. Let me stick that bad boy on. I'm gonna leave that there for a while. I have no idea whether it's actually going to do that or not. But yet again, I've had no entry signal here on oil. Certainly not on the hourly, and not yet on the 15 minute. Nothing on the pound euro. That's I'm leaving Brexit and stuff out of it. I don't really want to get into that for the minute. Here on the DAX, we had an entry signal by the close below this candle, in and around the 12,912 point. It would have gone against us. It would have been close to taking us out, maybe. My stop would have been up around about 12,953. But anyway, it didn't. We would have been in on this candle maybe at 145 if I'd have set this yesterday, and we were looking to continue down. As it happens, I didn't set this at 12:15. I set this around about 9-ish this morning. A break and close of this, no, it was before that, so it would have been 8:30, yeah. A break and close below this line, 12,900 roughly, would have been a short sell. But as it turns out, I'm not going to do that now, because I've left this here for a reason. The wick on this candle, on this 8:45 candle, pretty much touched S1 daily, and the next wick touched the 1 hour support resistance, and then back up, back down, back up, back down. So now we've got a touch on S1 daily. Excuse me whilst I drink some fizzy stuff. Oh yeah. And then from this touch, we've got a higher low, but we've got a lower high. Then we've got a higher low, which weirdly touched mine, sounds a bit weird, touched the line, this line up here, excuse me, called a horizontal segment, touched it, which I drew way back at 8:30 this morning. So this is obviously not significant, but it's obviously got something to do with today's trading, and then bounce back up again with so that's a higher low and a lower high. So anyone that's doing training of some description from another educator, although I'm not an educator, might be able to tell you that this is a triangle. If I had to say which way, it's a descending triangle, so there might be a break to the downside, but even so, there's an hourly support resistance in the way. It could possibly be a ascending triangle, so if a break above this, that's a break above and close above, might indicate continuation. Similarly, on the downside, a break below and close below might indicate further movement to the downside. The thing is, with me, I'm not going to get into a trade until it's at least broken this weekly low, which would be on the hourly. So for me, this weekly low has to be broken before I'll get into a short trade. Oil is fickle and weird and can be not manipulated, wrong word, but can be moved, taken in either direction quite quickly by other factors. I'm in a Sainsbury's short position purely as a training aid. One of the chaps who I am showing how I trade, I'm not teaching him or them how to trade. Excuse me, I got told off the other day for saying him to a chap. I didn't know the person, But I said, oh, this guy here, and I got stopped. And so, well, you can't say that. You can't assume that this person is a chap. Well, I can. He's got an Adam's apple, and he's got short hair, and he's got quite a deep voice, a lot deeper than mine. His hands look as though he's been, manipulating steel for some time, and they're hairy around the knuckles. So I'm going to call that person a chap. But I got told off because apparently you can't presume the sex of anyone these days, and we are quite what's the words, offended easily now, aren't we? We get offended easily. I don't, but people do get offended quite easily. I didn't know the person, sorry. He didn't know me. They didn't know me. The person didn't know me. I'm sure that they would have been okay with me calling them a guy, but this other person had stepped in and mentioned that I should not have even presumed that that was their chosen sex. Anyway, so I identify as a mad trader. I'm not bothered what you call me. You can't call me certain words over YouTube. It's just not family friendly. But those words that you want to call me, that's what I am. I'm not bothered. So anyway, I was talking to this chap. This is the chap, and said, "Oh yeah, no, this guy over here." Anyway, and we were talking about something absolutely obscure and not even related to that situation, and it was all about trading. And my trading mentality is that I'm not bothered. I don't care where this goes. I could not care less where Sainsbury's goes. Could go down, could go up. If I'm in a trade, I don't care whether it's the best, because we all know what Sainsbury's is. I don't care whether it's the best or the worst or the mediocre store that it is. Couldn't give monkeys. All I care about is my signal, and a signal was generated. I entered the signal, and now I'm short. Thankfully, it didn't go against me that much, and it continued on. But I could still lose my initial bet. And I know it's only £10. It's only 1 point, 10 point stop. I got it, but it's to show this guy, this chap, I know he is a chap, but to show this other chap how my system works. And whilst people will say it doesn't work, it can't work, you can't make money like that. No way can you make money like that. You must be mad. I am mad. Mad trader, obviously. But it works. And it works because it takes these little choppy bits, might lose you a little bit of money, yes, depending on how you control your risk. But the big moves, let me just show you. The big moves will make you all of that, well, maybe not that, but all of this turns into profit. All of this turns into profit. All of that turns into profit. Yep. So your little losses here are nothing compared to the money that you, or percentage increase you'll make on these big moves. And if you look on the daily, which is when Sainsbury's became the big deal for me, way back when, I've been looking at Sainsbury's, trading Sainsbury's since 6 years ago? 6 and a bit years ago, yeah. When I first started actually, becoming profitable. Not on the daily, can't do it on the daily, need to do it on the hourly. But anyway, you look back, there's these massive swings. And that's where you get your percentage gains from. Yes, you'll lose a bit. Big gains. Lose a bit, big gains. You might have even lost a little bit there, but big gains all the way down. So this is, I'm in this trade to show someone, how best to play this game. It's constant little wins and little losses, with the occasional big massive win. Anyway, go on, I'm waffling on. I need some more. I don't know if I can say this on stream or not. I need some more fizzy, carbonated goodness. Sugar-free, obviously. And Treble 8 Holdings is similarly to Sainsbury's. We know what Treble 8 Holdings are. I know we do. Those of us from Britain do. But I don't care. I honestly have no care in the world. I was looking at this from a breakout of this perspective way back in October. In fact, October, that week I was away on holiday, which was last week, and it didn't breach, it didn't break, it didn't come near it. I was a little bit twitchy. I was a little bit, is it? Could it on the Thursday? It didn't come up to it, but as it broke here, it broke above, closed above, next candle, opened above, closed above. I set my order for entry. My order for entry is X amount of points away. After that break, I'm in. And whether it goes all the way up and then turns over and falls down, that's just the way trading goes. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. If we look at the dailies, however, it's been on a downturn for some time, but it will eventually continue on up to a set point. You know, it won't go forever. It'll go up a while and then stop and then turn over. And my exit, bear in mind, there's got to be a reason. That TMR, that reason, time, money and reason, the reason to get out is when it gives me a signal, I will get out. Boom. So that's it. That's what we're looking at the minute. I have a high-level solids alarm to deal with. So I've got to shoot off and go and get that sorted out. But I shall be back ever so shortly. Please continue to watch. Let me know if I need to get out of that gold trade. It should be falling over anytime soon. He says, I'm not bothered. As long as it doesn't breach 1500, then I'm golden. And until give me 5-10 minutes, you know, I'm going to go onto the throne and do the high level reset. I shall give you guys a shout when I'm back. Have a listen to some funky, royalty-free music. Sup, Exeter Mitch, UK. Yeah, well, long-term view on the DAX. Well, the bottom, the arse has just fallen out of it, as we can see. And it is a break below. We need a close below. You know, if anyone's looking at trading this now, we need to have a close below this weekly. And then there needs to be an open and close below this weekly on the hourly for me before I'll go short. I mentioned that before. From a long-term view, let's look at the daily aspect of it. It is overbought on stochastics. Although we don't use stochastics to trade from, you should never just blindly trade stochastics. Let's see. This was an overbought and it crossed there. So if you're trading hard right edge and you went south here right now on the DAX right now on the, what day was that? That would have been the 24th of June. And you'd have gone short then. Yes, you'd have made a little bit of cash, but then it shoots back up again. And it would have taken you out probably on your stops. So we don't trade the stochastic solely. And certainly didn't even breach the 20 on the stochastic and then shot back up again. So excuse me, I shouldn't use stochastic to trade from. That being said, it is oversold on, well, if that's even a thing, on the stochastic. It's made a similar high, and this is where things like divergence and convergence come together. It's made a similar high on the stochastic. If you look at that line there, 99, ooh, and that made a high here. It's a similar high here, but the price has made a massive high over there. So if I was a betting man, and I obviously am because I'm on a spread betting broker, lunatic that I am, I would be going for possibly south from a daily perspective. On the hourly, we still need this candle to close below the weekly. So my strategy is very simple. It's a mechanical set of rules, but it's a mechanical interpretation of the rules. In other words, if X happens, check Y. If Y also happens, make sure Z happens, hit go. That is it. There's no if and or but. There's nothing for me to think about too much. There's not even a bit that says, oh, it might be, it might not be. So you don't, use your discretion, and you can or you can't. It's not like that. I hit the go button if X, Y, and Z all line up. Bang, I'm in. I might lose. Yes, there's always losing trades. And on this channel, certainly here on YouTube and also on Twitch, there have been a couple of losing trades that you can see, live happening. I've had to close them. Bang, done. There's also been some very nice big winning trades. One or two we haven't managed to capture, but one or two we have. That's just the way it goes. So for me, long term, I don't really care what's going to happen long term on the DAX. I think short term, if it closes below this weekly, we might have some faffing about, and then it'll probably make its way down to this interim support and resistance at 12. Let's call it 12,800. Be mindful of round numbers, remember. And if that's not where it stops, then the next place it's going to stop is probably down here at this next interim at 12,650. Yeah, so for me, I'm waiting until my system gives me an entry on the 15-minute. That entry came now, actually, and there has definitely been a close below. We just wait for this candle to open below, and then we'll see what's going to go on. I am probably going to set that trade on. If I'm honest, I may need to. No, I can't. Oh, that's a kick in the nads. Kick in the nads. Pointless looking. Okay, so with this account that I'm doing now, whether anyone cares or not, I'm going to tell you anyway. Pretty much, Ron, and a few other people had said, oh, well, no, not everyone can have, 30, 40, 50 grand account. What about doing £1,000 challenge? No, I'm not doing £1,000 challenge, but I took some money, which is a little bit less actually than £1,000, stuck it into the account or into another account, and I started that account from £1,000. And these trades that I'm doing, the ones that you're seeing on screen, are from that £1,000 account. Some will win, some will lose. All money will be going back into that £1,000 account, not into the main account. And on my main account, I mainly do the daily swings, large swings. I can't really do, when I'm at work, you see, I can't really do the intraday stuff. But also with this £1,000 account, a portion of any winnings will be going to charity, and anyone that donates on Twitch, anyone that donates money to the trading account, half of that money also goes to charity. Then the rest of it goes back into the trading pot to then get traded on for more charity cash. So yeah, so unfortunately I can't jump on this DAX trade, although that would be lovely, wouldn't it? That would be an amazing trade to get on, because there's not enough margin available, which is daft, isn't it? You would think that let me just put, oh no, it's pointless. Yeah, that would have been a good entry below that. But basically, for me to go in on my smallest bet size through this £1,000 account is 50 pence a point. And if I were to sell at now at market, that's 321.65 on the margin that I need, along with any along with any money that I'd have to put on the bet. And if I went in market right now, that would be 74 points, which would be £37 at 50 pence a point. So that would be 360-ish pound for the margin and the trade. And unfortunately, because I have other trades on, I have less than £500. I've got £491 left in margin. Yes, there's enough, but one of my rules is, and you've got to stick to your rules, for me anyway, if the margin amount goes below a certain percentage, and for a £1,000 account, that would be 50% margin. If it falls below that margin percentage, minimum margin percentage, you can't go again. You can't keep adding more trades. So I unfortunately can't get into this. That would have been quite a good short. So hopefully that's not even bothered to answer your question, because I don't care. What was his name? Who was it? Exeter Mitch. I'm not really bothered. Whether or which way the market's going, or long-term stuff for the market. Yeah, not really bothered. It's not something that I care about, if I'm honest. And neither should you. You shouldn't care. I mean, if you're doing a long-term swing trade, that would be very different. That would be an investment issue. So let's go to weekly. Weekly, we're coming up to a lower high on the stochastic, yet a higher price. So if you look, what now? So if you look at this from a investment point of view, and I'm not saying that you should invest. This isn't investment advice. Definitely not. I'm not regulated, or I'm not allowed to give you or to offer anybody any investment advice whatsoever. But if this were your investment, we look at the stochastic. Stochastic was high here on week 18, 29th of April. And it made a high. It touched this this bunch. There's not just one, there's a bunch of support and resistance there. And then bounced down, didn't go very far. Excuse me. And then stochastic moved up ever so slightly, but it made a higher high on the price, which makes no sense. No sense. And then stochastic dropped, so did price. Stochastic is making at the minute, what looks like a lower high, even than this one, yet price is remaining high up there. I would have imagined that it's going to fall over and come to at least 12,500, if not further down. Let's not even go into the Brexit malarkey. So if you were looking from a investment point of view, then I would probably look at a short side, but don't just blindly go in. Don't blindly enter short. There's got to be a reason. And that reason is not yet. I still have 7 minutes left on my clock, and this thing has to close below this green weekly. The next candle, so the 2 o'clock candle, would have to open below and close below. Don't care what the wicks do. The wicks can do whatever the wicks do. As long as it opens below and closes below this green weekly support or resistance. Then I might look at possibly going short, although I can't at the minute because I don't have enough available margin, which is killing me. It's okay though, I am short on my main account. Let me just make sure that I am. Yes, cool. So, hopefully that made some kind of sense. I know it didn't really answer your question. I am going to go and get myself some more fizzy poppage. I'm also going to go and get a blank piece of paper. I've got a strategy that I'm back testing on my laptop in a minute as well, so I need to go and write down the results of that. I have this fear that, excuse me, if I back test a strategy on a live system like this, then I'm going to hit live and go, and it'll start to do some trading. And on a £1,000 account, you don't want that to happen because you'll just lose cash. So on my laptop, I've got a back test running. I need to make sure that gives me, or has finished, and gives me the results that I would like, please. So I'm going to turn this free to use, copyright free, Gumph music up. And I'm going to shut my big fat pie eating hole up for a while, and I shall be back. Let's call it 2:15, and we'll see what the markets have done then. Stay with us, stay tuned. We're going to talk more about, weird things. You don't want to miss it. Okay, back again. Blimey, that was mad. High level solids. And then you've got to do the tank cleaning and everything. It's just too much. Right, so DAX has closed below, yes. This has opened below, yes. This candle needs to close below this weekly in order for me to even think about, on this account, for me to even think about closing another trade in order to have enough margin available for me to then jump onto the trade. At the minute, and although I know it's just started and there's 54 minutes to go, at the minute it hasn't closed below, so I need to come back in another 54 minutes. And in 54 minutes time, because this might go all the way back down again, then all the way back up and close above this weekly high, which is a signal that it doesn't want to go south anymore. It wants to continue back up north. On the daily, yes. Oh, big red. But so was that a big red. The difference is that there's a red before it, and these two reds have taken out this green up candle and that green candle, and the wick has taken out this wick. So that's two candles have taken out three green candles. So that is a good sign it's going south, but on a shorter time frame, because you don't want to put your stop all the way up at those highs. You wouldn't have enough money to trade with on a small account, on a £1,000 account. You have to have rules. You have to have a strategy that says when to get in and when to get out, where to put your stop. And my strategy says I've got to wait for this to close, and as long as it closes below this weekly, I'm in. And no matter where that closes, well, so I mean, I would be in if I had enough cash. Where my stop would go is also determined by my strategy. It could be up as high as here, it could be here, it could be here. It all depends on where price closes in 53 minutes and 52 minutes. With the Sainsbury, there is going to be a sticking point in and around this 201 mark. I'm imagining that it's going to get down to at least S3 daily. It may well even fall over because there was a lower high here. So we've got a low, then another low, but then we've got a lower high compared to this high, a higher low, which is weird, then another lower high, and then it breached this, which is why we got in. Excuse me. And we're looking for it to breach this low, and that might be, a couple of days. That could be Friday. Remember, this market for the UK closes at 4:30, so if we're still in at 4:30, we're still in at 4:30. It's no biggie. Leave it till tomorrow. And if it breaches this low, it would need to come all the way down to at least here, 194, before I think about closing it. And even then, it needs to then come back up and breach either this high or another previous high that's of any substance. So still in the Sainsbury's, only 6.5 points, but this is just showing someone. This isn't the be all. This isn't your bread and butter. This money, this percentage. Don't worry about it. You can't live off this, but what you can do is, because that's only a 10-point stop, you can put on a £2,000, £3,000, £4,000 account, you can put £5-10 per point on that, and that would be 64 quid. Not to be sniffed at. That would definitely get me, well, about 6 kebabs and a fizzy pop. We're talking of which, and a taxi to go and get it, or Deliveroo to bring it. Fizzy. So £64 on a normal account isn't anything to be sniffed at. Long term, for Sainsbury's, I would have thought that possibly it would come down to these lows at around about 176. Yes, I've got a limit on. Excuse me, but that's only because I've put it there just in case it shoots its way down there. And if you have something that shoots down or shoots up, let's once my internet catches up, much like bing 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 bing, much like these candles, shot down, didn't know what to do, shot down again, kept on going. It then continues on up on its little journey back to higher than this was before. So for things to shoot down, to have major moves down or up, it tends to shock the price. This green candle might have indicated that it was on its way up. It did go up a little bit, but then gapped down. So big moves, big shocky moves, we don't really want anything to do with. So I'm hoping this is going to slowly trickle its way down daily to this area. But my stop was just on there just in case it did a big massive move. Back onto the hourly just to get me ready set up. Squeeze me. Come on, internet. I don't have normal internet. I have mobile internet, 4G internet. Excuse me, which is fast enough. You know, I get 25, 35 meg sometimes. Good enough for me, good enough for this. I don't need fibre speeds just yet. I wish I could have it. But BT, bless them, they don't do fibre to my property or anywhere in my area, which is strange because I'm only 3 miles from a major city. Freakishly, they don't do fibre to the cabinet or to my home, and if I had the choice it'd be fibre to the home, but I can't get it. Can't get Virgin either. It's a strange area that I live in. Very strange area. So, what was I saying? What was I saying? I can't remember. That's burgled me now. So I'll probably, this is a management point that I'd have to look at. If we reach this by 4:30, I might have to have a think about it. But if we don't, I'm just going to let it run. And treble 8 holdings, it's gone against us slightly, but that's to be considered. It did continue up, had a red day, had another red. Red hour, another red hour. That was this morning at 8. Last night at 4, this morning at 8. Didn't continue, just went down so more people can join on the bandwagon. Continued on, it's breached my entry, most definitely, at which this area here, by the way, is the green area, is the high of this candle here. Monday the 9th of September, and going back even further is also, oh no, you can't do it, come on, give me some space, dude. Right, let's go on to the daily. I don't want that many units. This area here is also congested, so the next high point would be for me to think about management of will be 174.8, but that's not this system. This system is not a get in and manage it ever so slightly and then leave it alone. This system is get in, manage your money, manage the trade, get out when the signal is shown, and the hour chart is only the entry chart. I only enter on that hour, if that makes sense. Excuse me. Obviously not been drinking anywhere near enough fizzy stuff. Yes. So, in on treble 8 holdings and Sainsbury's. Can't get into the DAX, which is a shocker. Still got 45 minutes before this candle closes, and it does look as though, I'm looking on my other major account, it does look as though there's a discrepancy between the real live data and the spread bet data. Although, sorry, this is spread bet data. It's the market. The chart itself comes from itfinance.com. And it says data is indicative because the data is coming from my spread bet broker. But the chart itself is from IT Finance. And there's a slight discrepancy between the price shown here on the right and the price that I can see on my broker's package. Probably because the broker's price is a little bit quicker because it's direct on their web, whereas this package has to go to IT Finance, then it has to request it from my broker, which then brings the price back to IT Finance, which then sends it to me, which is where the faster the internet, the better, really, for that course of action. Anywho, see, waffling. Why doesn't someone tell me to shut up? Just someone should text in and say, "Oi, waffling, shut it," and I'll change my view. So 43 minutes and some change until this candle finishes or can close, and depending on where it closes, if I had the funds, I would either be going short or I wouldn't be going short. There's no long signal at the minute. There's only a short signal, which I can't trade. If you were watching, I can't actually remember now whether I put this on here or whether I put it on Twitter. Not sure. But anyway, if you were watching, I'd said that this was a possible double top for natural gas, and then if it got into this green zone, that would be a good area to take a short from. You don't just go short from here, although you could, I'm sure. I would need it to either touch this or come back below and open below, close below this blue line, 12705, 12700, and then I would be looking at shorts. However, the short signal has not come. My short signal would not be, where's the third one? Nope. 1, 2, 3, there we go. So that it would be when price closed below 2661 for me on natural gas on a 15-minute, and then I might be looking at going short on that. It would still need to breach below this 1 hour 1 hour support / resistance. It wasn't really much resistance there, was it? But this 1 hour support for me to hit the go button, but I would be looking to go short if price broke below these three candles right here. Anyway, that's enough on that. I'm sure you would rather be listening to that absolutely sexy music that's going on. Not, and we'll continue to look at both gold and DAX and see which one we should have got in on the first place. So I'm going to shut up now. I've got my new headset actually, because it's a bit weird. I've only got one ear on this old headset. When this morning got myself a new headset, so I'm going to open this. It's not a live unboxing, but I'm going to open this now and see whether I can get. Stop texting me, people. See whether I can get some. See whether I can get some use out of these headsets as soon as I finish today's stream, which will be roughly 10 minutes, so about 2:30. I'll probably close the stream, do an update tonight at 8, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock actually, on Twitter. And I'm working on a couple of other videos to put back onto YouTube. If you've not already seen it, there's a video that I've uploaded to YouTube. And it's let me see. Where is it? Uploads, here we go. Yeah, so it's only about 25 minutes long, 26 minutes long. It's about a back-test strategy that I was given, or paid for actually, 6-7 years ago. And giving it away is the wrong word. That's the wrong thing. I'm explaining it. So if you wanted to use it, you can do. And it's not a very good explanation. Full of this cold, had a child to deal with who was, not very well as well, whilst trying to record this video, and I had to chop out a few bits and bobs. For YouTube, I'm not allowed to swear, not allowed to make any kind of weird comment at all. Twitter, different kettle of fish. So I had to chop out a few bits and bobs, and I'm not sure it makes sense. I've not really watched it back myself, but have a look at that. It's called, obviously it sounds everything, mad trading, mad for it. But it's a strategy for consistent profits over the long term, and that's what you're after. You're after consistency over the long term, not short term little gains. You want long term big gains. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. My voice is starting to waver. I need more fizzy stuff, and there's a cold kebab around here somewhere. Can't find it, so I'm going to have to shove down my gullet. But I shall be back on in about 10 minutes, if not beforehand. And if nothing else is happening, we'll probably close the stream then. I'm still watching the chat, so if anyone does manage to join, if anyone does stick anything on the chat there, you know, say hello, add some comments, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you've got. And also, before I do go offline or off air at 2:30, I'm probably going to let you know who else you should be following or watching here on YouTube. They have some very good information, some very good points for everyone to listen to and learn. But you know, we'll go through that before 2:30, before I shoot off, or at 2:30. Anyway, waffling again. Just text me. Oh, my trader, shut it. All right, fair enough. I'm going to turn this music up, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Don't stop.
Okay, freaky people. Long-haired freaky people need to know to apply. I've got an awesome singing voice, mate. Right, so I'm back. We have. I'm probably going to close session in about 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. We've been going on for. How long's that going now? Where's my software? So an hour and 33. So yeah, we're going to close in a minute or two. In 26 minutes time, I will either be thinking I should go short or not go short. We need to see where this closes for the DAX trade. Not a huge amount going on. I don't anticipate Sainsbury's doing much now. That might be it for the move. It's definitely overbought, and I don't think we're going to get down to those heady lows. It should have at least reached it by now. It's not, so that's fine. The 4 o'clock, so between 9 and 4 on Thursday and Friday. So Thursday at 8 a.m. was a weird candle, and then Thursday close at 4 was this weird candle as well. So it didn't really do a great deal between Thursday. Friday it was a big massive move up, 8 o'clock open, and then the big highs at Friday at 1, and then Friday at 4 closed a little bit lower. Would have expected it to open up high. It didn't. It went down. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, and then Tuesday, and then today. Today, Thursday, Friday, over the weekend, not a huge amount. Monday, Tuesday, and then today. So today opened in a relatively weirdly. Excuse me. We had we'd set this yesterday, so this has been ongoing since yesterday. Went in our favour, went against us. It's gone in our favour again. It might go against us a bit more. I'm just going to wait now. I'm going to leave it until my system tells me to get out, or it takes me out, and then pop itself back up again. Although I'm not making any predictions at all, none whatsoever. Nothing on the pound euro. We're not touching pound euro for now. There's been no signal since the when was the last signal given? When would the last signal have been generated? The last signal could have been generated from the breaks of this high, which would have been no, which would have been here. Closed above, next one opened above and closed above this line here, and we would still be in. However, I wasn't around then to look at this. I was around Monday, obviously, and Tuesday, but just didn't I didn't see it as viable as all of these little wicks say it's going south, and I don't get in unless there's a signal. Next signal for me south would be if and when price closes below this, and these are big, yes, and that's a decent size candle as well, but I would want it to close below 11,560 at least. And it's got to breach this support resistance, mediocre support resistance line here. So for the pound euro, nothing on, nothing happening. Oh, you poo. DAX, let me just get onto here. DAX, well, look at that. It's above this weekly. So it's a good job, if anyone had just jumped on the sell wagon as soon as this went through, if you didn't get out of the bottom of this candle, you're screwed, because this obviously is now back above the weekly and may well continue on up to at least 12,988 or even higher, 1300s. Who knows? I don't know. Don't know anyone that can predict it. I'm not predicting anything, but That's why I'm saying we like everyone's in on this. I have a strategy that tells me when to get in and when to get out, not just blindly jump on that bandwagon. So because this, at the minute, if this were to close right now, this did not close below the weekly low. I'm not on a short, so I'm not going to get in. I'll obviously wait until this timer is run out, but it does look like it's going to continue creeping up. So no trade on the DAX. Gold is not going in my favor, but that's what the system does. The system gets us in, and as long as it doesn't close above here, I'm not going to put a line on it, but as long as it doesn't close above this bit here, then I'm going to stay in. My system, I thought I put that on. Did I put it on the hourly? I did not put it on the hourly. Anyway, if it closes above this hourly resistance at 14.95, let's call that 500. No, let's not, because 500 is all over there. 14.95, then I'll be looking at closing that bad boy. It's a loser, no biggie. So if it closes above this hourly resistance here, 14.95, then I'll probably be looking at closing it, and there'll be no. Well, in fact, that would be a long entry signal. Close above this, but remember the candle would have to close above, then the next candle has to open above and close above this area for me to look at a long on glod. Oil faffing about. Look at this jazz. It's just ridiculous. It's not come down anywhere near the 6035 and it's not gone up to 6165. It's just pished about in the middle. Excuse my Dutch. And the Aussie yen, well, apart from looking at some backtest data, that's really done nothing as well all day. As for companies or other companies, send me a message. Send a message on Facebook group, Facebook Mad Trading. Then. I can have a look at any markets that you desire. I desire Tesla. Yeah, well, you haven't got money for Tesla. And, if you aren't in the shares side of life, and that's a portfolio of shares, and you haven't diversified, then, I'm not going to give you any information or, that's the wrong word to put, I'm not going to give you any tips on certain stocks because they're a stock. I'm just going to tell you what the chart is telling me. So asking me whether I think Tesla is going to go long or short, whether a good buy and hold, is not my bag, baby. I can't tell you whether you should buy and hold anything. If the chart says to buy it and my system says hit the go button, then that's all I can tell you. So I'm going to be hitting the goodbye button in a second or two. Thanks to anyone that watches this now or has been watching now, or thanks to anyone and everyone that watches in the future. Before I go, I would urge you to go and have a look at a YouTube channel. Let me just try and get it up for you and stick it on the screen. If I can, that is. Don't do that. So, here it is. I hope you don't. I hope they don't mind me doing this. Let me skip that bad boy ad because I don't really want to get in their bad books. I think they're a decent company if I find them. On top of that, thank you guys for anyone that's watching now or in the future. Have yourselves an absolutely fantastic day. Why don't you? Just before I go, I know that it's annoying, but it's annoying to a point where weirdly you listen. From a psychological point of view, You're probably thinking, what, really? Again? What in why? And I'm thinking, because it's annoying. Seriously. Now bugger off.